Hey everyone, welcome to episode 76 of the Pickleball Effect podcast. I'm your host, Braydon.
And I'm Kyle.
Kyle, the co-host, missing the co-host podcast battle.
I know.
Dude, so I was in Austin this week. That was the funnest part of the trip for sure.
Like
it was so fun. And as much as I enjoyed beating up on Brian, it would have been so much more fun beating up on you. So I went to a dream breaker, I'll just say that. And we decided to match up host versus co-host.
Okay.
So everyone had this.
So you had to play Brian.
So I had to play
Chris
Brian,
had to play
but
Isaac. Okay.
I wish it was you.
Oh, that would have been
I
bad.
wish it was you.
Oh, that would have been terrible. I'll be the first to admit you would have smoked me in that.
It was so fun. We'll just jump into it. This is weekly update stuff. But then 3-0 to 5-0 is mine this week. Kyle's corner. We're talking about ALW, some split, paddle, babble, and gear. I can't say too much about the Adidas event itself. We'll talk about the podcast battle. They have an embargo for that. And then we'll talk Motion Pro shoes from Head, what we're playing next. And then we're going to build our perfect paddle. What would our perfect paddle be? Whether it's specific elements of tech that you like and or, just picking, the power of this paddle, feel this paddle kind of thing. And we're just going to mash that together to build each other's perfect paddle. But yeah, so going back to Austin this week, the team format was perfect. I think this is the ideal format for something of this nature. Okay. So when we did that battle with Isaac and Chris, like that was really fun, but there's an element of seriousness to it because we really wanted to win, right? But this team format kept it very light. You're still competitive, but it kept it light. Everyone's at any given time, somebody was chirping, whether it was person on the court, people in the corners.
Perfect.
And so it was going to be really entertaining and fun that way. Plus, there's just more people. You're cheering on your people. When a good point's made, you got people on your bench screaming and cheering. And then there was a handful of people sitting out. So the way we had it set up is we had the court running. You had a handful of cameras on there. And then we had a court on the team benches. Okay. Or not a court, a camera on the team benches. Everyone was mic'd up the whole time. Then we had a camera on like an actual bench where Ryan DeWidgeon was watching, Carlos was watching, and Ryan's hilarious. He does some of the commentating too for PPA. Anyways, really sharp dude.
Did you guys mic him up?
Yeah, they were actually. I don't know if they were mic'd, or if the camera just got it. But you can hear Ryan.
Okay, good.
You don't have to worry about hearing Ryan. Anyways, it was so fun, and I think that team format is the way to go for stuff like this because as much as we enjoy playing and, it's kind of fun watching us, struggle out there. It's not just the play itself isn't the entertainment, right? It's the whole thing.
Absolutely.
It's everyone together. It's the banter. And it was, I think we captured it this time better than we ever have in a previous attempt. Yeah. I think the one in Vegas a year or so ago was pretty good. We had a lot of fun with that one in Chatter. And I think this one will top that. And so this will definitely have to be a series or something. But I'm excited to see these come out. I'm not sure when we're going to publish these yet. Edits are in the works.
Each game is on somebody else's channel, right?
Each game is going to be on someone else's channel, so you have to kind of follow along through that. But just a couple things from the podcast battle. So one was that morning, we're all just eating breakfast at this diner. Is
Denny's?
No, that was the previous night by myself, just getting in at 11 o'clock, being super hungry. So we're all eating at this diner. And Justin mentions, he goes, "Hey, Braydon, I saw you and Kyle do your little preview this morning because we had published our thoughts of how we were going to,
how we were going to
play and end up making predictions and whatnot." And he was a little fired up.
Was he? Because you said, I forgot you could handle him or something.
Yeah, I mean, the way he responded was very just. He's like, your assessment was fair, but I'm fired up right now. He's like, I'm gonna go win. So
love it.
I ended up playing Justin twice, so he had his chances, and he got me, dude. In one of the games, he burned me 3 times in a row, and I was actually like happy for him. I was like, I'm glad you got your revenge because he wanted that really bad, and he. He got me off a poach. I tried to poach. He burned me behind me. I had this really nice roll dink that jumped outside that he ATP'd. And then he had a drive that he just smoked from the midcourt to my right hip. Like it was all like in quick succession, just bam, bam, bam. And so he got his revenge.
Nice.
Justin got
Did
his
he just drop
revenge.
his paddle and walk off afterwards?
There was
He's like, I'm good.
There was plenty of that stuff going on. There's another one with Justin where he made this great play and then he like served one into the net or something.
Like
right?
the next,
right? Then like the
same
next
guy,
shot. Yeah,
same guy.
One of those
Yeah.
scenarios. Anyways, that was fun. So there was definitely the competition was there. People wanted to win.
Oh, Eddie. How was Eddie?
Eddie played.
Yeah.
Eddie,
the dark horse, the one nobody knew anything about.
I don't think Eddie won a game. Actually, no. I don't think Eddie came out with one. He definitely had moments of brilliance. The funny story with Eddie was during some rec play the day before, Chris just kept lobbing him, and he apparently
is he pretty short?
He's shorter, but apparently he just hates people who lobs.
Oh, no.
So he was just so mad at Chris.
And Chris's lobs are good.
He's got a really great lob, and so he definitely pulled that out in the matches. The best. Okay, there's a couple Eddie moments that were just fantastic. So Eddie's a little different off screen than he is in his podcast. A little more. I don't know if boisterous. A little more open with what he says off the podcast.
Okay.
So Chris and I are playing ping pong. We're at the Adidas event, and Eddie walks in and he goes, "Oh, Chris, why aren't you hitting some of those?" Like he just kind of cusses about lobs, and we all just like lost our minds. We're like, "What, Eddie? Where did this come from?" It was like this personal attack at Chris about lobs.
He was still salty about the lobs.
He was still salty about it. Like about an hour later, after it all happened, and then. He had some great quips, some great jabs. I think he had the best nickname for me. He kept calling me White Balance, which is like the ultimate burn for a nerdy white guy, right? With cameras.
That's funny.
And he came with it quick. We had just gotten to the lab there that morning. I don't know. I was just like pulling up my shorts or something.
Yeah.
And he saw I wipe my legs. And he goes, "Oh, what's up, White Balance?"
That's pretty good.
And it was so good. It was one of those ones I had to like think about to realize that he was burning me, you know?
You don't even need a card to do your white balance. You just use your skin.
I just use my skin. Yeah. Anyways, it was hilarious. That was so fun. Really excited for those games to come out and be on the lookout for those. I imagine we'll have them done here in a couple weeks.
So they embargoed the event. Like you can't even talk about the event.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we had signed some NDA stuff while we were there, but they ended up altering the NDA later.
Okay.
So there was some clauses in there that we didn't like. They had said that they could just use our reviews and things at their free will for ads. And we said, no, you have to talk to us before you do any of that. So you're not just handpicking elements you want. And so they changed that wording up. And then they also changed some wording saying we can't talk about paddles, tech, or impressions from the event until the 16th, I want to say, until the 18th. And then the paddles will launch on the 22nd. So I'm going to save information on the event and paddles till next week.
Got it.
Anyways, that was fun. The other stuff this week for weekly update. So Selkirk opened up their store in Meridian.
Brick and mortar store.
First brick and mortar. Have you seen it? Have you been there?
No, I didn't get a chance. I ended up I was working. I got invited to the VIP night and then I had to work. And then I was going to try and go Saturday, but I was busy until later.
So they did their big grand opening thing last Saturday. I didn't attend to that. I went to the little
You went to the VIP thing on Thursday.
And I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is cool. Let's go check it out. This sounds interesting, right? So you show up. It's in this really nice premier location.
It looks really nice.
It's about 5 minutes from the Flying Pickle, really close. So high traffic area. This is not a cheap rent place. So that they're doing this for real. So it's this really nice place, really nice building, really nice signage outside. You walk in and you're kind of you're impressed. It is set up really nice, really clean, really thought through. I mean, there's paddles, obviously, but they kind of just take up a corner. Yeah. There's a lot of apparel, shoes.
No, I saw like the shoes on display looked nice. Like, all their displays looked really nice.
The displays looked really solid. The design, the color, like it felt very top tier, very premium. You felt like you're walking into an Apple store.
Okay.
It was really, really nice. You're kind of taken aback. You're like, whoa, they're doing this and they're doing it right.
Okay.
And so it was pretty cool that way. And then they have a little testing court where you can demo paddles. And then they have a machine that'll feed it to you, and you can test and hit paddles there. And so
Was it only big enough to use a machine? Like, can you have a person on the other side too?
You could have a person on the other side.
Cool.
It's not a regulation length. They had to shrink it a little bit to get it in there, but it is a court surface. You can see the ball check.
You can still like dink and hands battle.
Yeah, if there's two of you, there's the kitchen is there, and then there's probably, I don't know, 10, 15 feet behind it.
So enough. You could get a good feel for your paddle.
100%, 100%. Plenty of room to play test the paddle. And anyways, it was super, super impressive. Really interested to see how this performs. And the fact that they're going all in, they're doing it right. Like if something's going to work, it's going to be this. And so this will be a good test. And anyways, just talking to them about it. They're excited about the store, but they also think the store itself is going to lift just everything in general. Maybe they don't make a ton of money from the store, but they think just having the store is going to lift online sales. It's going to lift sales at the Flying Pickle. It's going to build the pickleball in the area. But the fact that it's just not all, I don't know, you think pickleball, you think paddles, right? But this store was not all paddles. It was very much heavy on the apparel bags.
Dude, some of their new apparel is nice.
It's really,
like, did you get the newest stuff? Yeah, I was surprised at how nice it was.
I've got their newest like performance stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what I got. I like the zip up.
Yeah, the zip up.
It's super nice material.
Yeah, the tees. They're really, they've done a great job with that.
Because I used to not like Selkirk apparel.
Yeah, me either. And the branding is toned down. They used to have, the
it used to be really loud. Yeah, the big ass. Yeah.
Now it's just subtle.
Yep.
And so because it's so comfortable, like it's nice stuff, because the branding's more subtle, I can see the apparel not like being more universal. I don't think it's going to be, I'm Selkirk, so I wear Selkirk stuff. Or if I'm Yola, I wear Yola stuff. There'll be more brand mixing. I can see person being okay buying a Yola paddle and buying Selkirk clothes. I think it could definitely turn into that where like you and I will wear Adidas and Nike to everything because we just like the clothes. We don't care so much about the other equipment. And I can see Selkirk's apparel line turning into that where it's not weird to wear Selkirk if you play another paddle brand.
No, that's the new stuff I would wear. I wore to work the other day and somebody thought I came from a job interview. They're like, how'd your job interview go? Like, cause I had that nice like zip up and they're like, that looks really nice.
Yeah. So their new apparel lines is the real deal. And so anyways, I think that's going to be really fun. You'll have to get your first impressions and you go check it out. Cause
I am still curious of how it's going to affect paddle sales at Flying Pickle. It is weird to me that cause that's a Selkirk sponsored club that carries 50% Selkirk paddles in their paddle store. Then you're going to have an actual Selkirk right down the street.
Yeah, I mean the Selkirk store has.
I mean, no, they're going to be
their
priced
full
the same.
lineup.
Yeah,
Flying Pickle doesn't have the full lineup, but you get to play test and demo the paddles at Flying Pickle in a different way than you can
that's true.
I mean, I would think if you're a member of the club, you buy from the club. But Hobble Creek's right there. There's tons and tons of rec players that don't play at the Flying Pickle that'll shop there. And I mean, obviously
they might work together too. So
they might work together. I was talking to Jace. He's one of their employees. He had mentioned that the store could also just be an avenue to get people introduced to the sport. Yeah. He said just in their first week of opening, first few days, there were a handful of people that walked in that had never played before.
That's awesome.
Said we heard this. We know what pickleball is. Help me out.
I like it.
And then they're like, you can go play at the Flying Pickle. So they can kind of push memberships and people to go play the Flying Pickle potentially. So there's some synergy there, I think.
I like that.
But it will be interesting to see if sales decline one or if they just both lift each other. Yeah. I imagine it just kind of lifts each other a little bit. But I don't know.
Yeah. Well, no, like you're saying, the synergy, because if we're getting more players, it's obviously going to benefit everybody. So the more pickleball, the better.
Yeah. And I know they have plans to be super involved in the community with events and
like schools and stuff.
Schools, just everything. Cool. And so that'll have an impact in and of itself there. You had a bullet here for a week.
Oh yeah. All my coworkers know I play pickleball, so they all wanted to learn how to play pickleball. So I brought a bunch of paddles to work and we went and found some courts and taught everybody how to play. And now they're all addicted. I got one guy that's like, serve it to me as hard as you can. And he's like, I want to play with your friends. I'm like, you got a ways to go, buddy. Like, I can't just throw you in there.
I love it.
But no, it's super fun. I
haven't played with fresh blood like that.
No, that's what I mean. It felt good. Like I have not played with anybody like that in a long time. And it's fun to see the people
see the bug get their
first hit. You could tell they were like, ooh, I need a better paddle. I need balls. I need like what shoe should I get?
Dude, that's awesome.
So I just thought that was fun.
Yeah, that's really fun. I had a similar experience this week. I guess kind of along the same vein. So at church, this guy knows I play, comes up to me, he's like, "Hey, I got some paddles, I got a portable net. Let's go play at the church sometime this week." And my church has, they have lines on like some wood floor. Yeah. And I was like, "Bro, if we're gonna play, let's play for real." And I don't think he's played very much, but I invited him to do one of those Friday morning.
I know.
Things.
I saw you on the roster. That's why I was asking.
So we're gonna play this week, Friday
just throwing
morning.
him right into the fire.
Just throwing him right into the fire. I don't want to play on a gym floor ever again, dude.
I love it.
Last thing I have for weekly update is just kind of this funny thing that happened this week in an email chat. So this guy messages me. He took my paddle quiz. He responds to my follow-up email and says, "Hey, these are the paddles I'm considering, mostly because of a conversation I had with Chat GPT." So he goes to Chat GPT for advice on his next paddle.
Okay.
And he says, "This is what I'm playing. This is what I'm looking for." And the paddles that Chat GPT recommended were horrible.
Was it like Z5?
So he was playing with a wide body, super forgiving, control-oriented paddle, and he wanted something with more spin. Well, actually, I can't remember what his original paddle is now. I want to say maybe it was a DBD.
Okay.
Anyway, something that was on the forgiving side. He's like, "I want something that's equally or better forgiving, maybe a little bit more power." And it had recommended, and he's like, "I want something, it's a little bit lighter, manageable that way." And it had recommended the Engage Pursuit MX, which is a super heavy, not crazy forgiving paddle. And it wasn't the best rec, but anyways, people are using Chat GPT now, and the Google just rolled out their new AI interface.
Oh, really?
That's very Chat GPT feel. And so
what's that one called? Do you know?
It's just Google AI.
Okay, I'll have to check that.
It has that kind of that chat style interface,
mm-hmm.
and I'm a little nervous about all this. One is I think it's going to hurt my website
mm-hmm.
a bit with far as getting traffic there, and so like I've messed with ChatGPT a little bit just to see where it pulls information from, where its sources, and so I'll see it pull stuff from my website to
mm-hmm.
answer questions, but it doesn't necessarily send you to the website. So let's say Chat AI pulls in some information that I wrote about, shares it to the person. The person may like it and then go buy the paddle, but because they were never on my website, they never saw my code, they never got my links, and so I don't get compensated.
So they don't have to I guess I don't know enough about AI. They don't have to credit the sources they're using.
So they'll have a link to the source, but you don't click through because you don't need to. It just it gives you the bits you want, and usually they'll give you 4 or 5 paragraphs about it, and then each paragraph will have a different source. So I'll just be a portion of the answer, not the whole answer. And so this is that's something I need to figure out and find a way to work with, but that's all new. I don't know how it's going to work, but the answers that ChatGPT gave this person in particular were not great. And so I would not rely on ChatGPT yet for review style stuff. I think, obviously ChatGPT is fantastic for stuff that's not like information. What do you call it? Like interpretation stuff that requires hands-on. I don't know, stuff that's
You think it's better
perception?
You think it's better at black and white type?
Yeah, black
answers.
and white. Like, give me history, dates, information. When it's looking at how a paddle feels, how it compares to others, it doesn't give you the same information, right?
Another industry that's taken over. I just talked to somebody about this. Is like a personal trainer. They use Chat GPT now. They'll just plug in make me a plan for somebody that needs to eat this much protein.
It's probably pretty good at that.
It's wild. It'll even break it down into recipes to cook the food.
Stuff like that.
But I'm so it's taking over that industry.
Oh, 100%.
But they're using it. So they're still charging people, but they're using Chat GPT to create
their chats
plans. I'm it's wild.
The app I use now for working out, I changed to this app called Zing, and it's an AI powered workout plan. You type in what you want, it builds out a plan, and then it keeps track of all the information for you, adjusts the weight as you move along, and it's so nice.
It's wild. It's wild.
And then it has a chat feature in it. If I want to say, "Oh, this is hurting, can we adjust it this way?" It'll fix things.
Nice. My ankle hurts, and it'll work it around.
Yeah. So it's really cool.
It's wild.
It's really, really cool.
I love AI.
And it's
scary though.
Really cheap for a personal trainer, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, there's maybe it gets really good at that down the line. I wonder if I can create my own bot with my information and feed it to make it speak the way I would speak. that could be really cool. Maybe that's a new feature on my website. That's something I want to explore as
Pickleball effect,
maybe
AI plugin.
Something like that, and where I can explore something that's better than the paddle quiz. That's a little more dynamic, and I think that's possible. I need to go dig into that because that could be cool.
I wonder when it's going to start pulling from like it's going to like transcribe all our podcasts and stuff and be able to pull information from like what's actually being spoken versus written.
Maybe.
I bet you.
That might be a thing already. I have no idea.
So I don't know either, but I'm sure we're going to end up there.
100%. Anyways, cool and scary all at the same time. But I'm just of the mind. It's here. You got to work with it. You got to find a way. You got to adapt. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, next section, 3-0 to 5-0. This is my week. Brought to you by Holy. They are our hydration partner. They have a pregame, in-game, post-game, plus greens. Love this stuff. If you're not, especially now that it's summer, if you're not using electrolytes, if you're not hydrating properly, you're going to cramp. You're going to have challenges with recovery. So go get some electrolytes. These are the ones we use. We love. Helps with muscle function, helps with recovery, helps with cramping, and
tastes good.
Tastes delicious. They just they launched a bunch of new flavors, and can highly recommend them. Link in the description. You can use the code PB Effect for a discount, so it's very reasonably priced. Holy Performance. Thank you for sponsoring 3-0 to 5-0. Today we're talking about deception. So I first want to define what deception is. I think when you first think deception and you're thinking of the Kyle Yates shot, you're thinking of this kind of wild,
the
flashy stuff that you just didn't see coming. And while yes, that can be deceptive, that's more of a one hit wonder. Once you see it once, you can identify it and pound when it comes again. And so that's not the sort of deception that you want to build into your game. Maybe for fun every once in a while, right? But as far as building deception that's going to work more than once, game in, game out, is what we're talking about. And so the best description I've found for deception is the building or forcing as much processing on your opponent before you hit the ball. So if you can make them question where this ball is going to go before you hit it, that is when you're winning. That is when your shots are deceptive. If they don't know if it's going middle, line, dink, speed up, lob. When there's so many different scenarios, so many different shots you can hit, that's when you are deceiving them and you kind of have your pick of what you want to do and you are in charge and you're going to find more success with your attacks. And I love that description. And so how do we force as much processing or more processing on our opponent before we hit the ball? So I broke this down into 3 steps. So step 1 is to take the ball as close to the same position as you can as possible. So you want your dink set up, you want your speed up set up, you want your lob set up to all be in the relatively similar position. For me, that's going to be generally the middle of the body. So it's going to require more footwork. You need to be active with your feet. You need to get the ball in front of you and keep your tip down as much as possible. Obviously, you're going to be extended sometimes, but for the where possible, you want to take the ball out in front of you, tip down before you dink, before you lob, before you speed up, so that you're all everything's in that same position. So that's step 1. This going into that step, or just talking more about that step, that's easier on the forehand. It's a lot easier to set up and get in the same position on the forehand side than it is on the backhand. On the backhand, you don't really get your tip down. You're slicing, and everything looks more different than you can with a one-handed on the forehand side. It's a lot easier. However, on the backhand side, if you're using 2 hands to dink and speed up, disguise is better. It's easier to keep things in the same spot. And so I think that's one of the advantages of 2-handed backhands is you can be more aggressive with your dinking, but it also opens up different locations and makes things look more similar. And so not only with positioning, you want to be similar, but also take backs. You don't want to be like taking your paddle back further. You don't want to be stepping up and winding up. You want to keep everything pretty compact, tight, make everything look really similar. So that's step 1. Step 2 is you need to be able to hit multiple spots and show that you can hit multiple spots. So early on in a game, especially if this is somebody you've never played before, you want to show what you're capable of. I wouldn't come out just firing all cylinders every time. I would take some points where, okay, I'm going to dink wide, I dink middle, I dink line, I speed up middle, I lob. I show that I have the capability to hit different spots. The one of the people I think is the best at this in our area is Nick Peterson. He can hit. He just has such a wide variety of shots from so many different places, and you know he has that. And he'll just hit these little soft kind of speed ups, these little rollers over the net, all over the place, different angles, mid-court, net, and it's so hard to defend because you just don't know where the ball's going to go. Like you have to set it for a speed up in the middle, and then he burns you with the roll down, kitchen down. He has the best game for deception in our area. I just don't know where it's going, and he has the capability to hit so many different shots with pressure. So you have to show that you can hit different spots from that same position. If you can't do that, go practice that. Go practice dinks in multiple locations, practice lobs, speed ups, and you want to be able to hit all those spots. So once you've shown that you can hit spots, then you have them thinking, okay, he's set up here, but I don't know where he's going. Third is the hold. So when you step up to the ball, you're getting ready to dink, just wait a half a second longer before you hit the ball. And that little half second is what gives you the opportunity to switch directions. So maybe I'm set up where it looks like I'm going to go dink down the line, and then I can change my paddle face just a little bit, go middle, go line. And so just holding it and not just going straight for it, just that little half second hold, that little hesitation before you hit the ball is going to allow you to shift spots and kind of apply that deception. So that's the only moment, that's the only hint that you're giving them of where you're going to go is in that hold, and then you switch and do something with it. So that's the only chance you give them to read it. So those are the 3 steps. Try to be in the same spot when you take the ball, show that you can hit multiple spots, and then 3, use that little hold. And then as the game goes on, your speed ups, your attacks, your dinks, they're all going to get harder and harder for your opponents to defend because they are just going to get confused, and you'll find yourself hitting clean winners down the middle or down the line because they're set up one way and then you hit it another. And so that's what deception is to me. Any thoughts on that?
I think this is a big one that you should implement in your drilling. You should have a partner because a lot of us are kind of not conscious to the telegraphing that we do. So if you have your partner, that your drilling partner, pay attention to like what shots you're hitting and let you know, like, hey, every time you drive, your take back's further. When you speed up, you're doing this. Like that way, you know what you need to work on. Because sometimes you don't think you're telegraphing, but you actually are.
Yeah.
And I know I suffer from that a lot, especially on speed ups. Like people will know I'm going to speed up because my take back is a little bit further. And I also think I think honestly my face shows it. Like, so even like facial expressions, like when I'm going to speed up, I think I'm like a little more excited than if I'm going to dink.
I love that. That's a great tip. When you're drilling, ask your partner to look for tells.
Exactly.
And let you know what they are.
And then you can work on that, and that'll aid hugely in the
That'll
deception.
help you learn how to set up properly for stuff, keep things the same. That's a great tip. So there you go. Go work on that. And this is mostly, well, everything I'm talking about is at the kitchen. This is where that deception, it's tough to be deceptive from the back with like a drive or a drop. What do you think?
Two-handed backhand. Like those people with two-handed backhands, because they can hold it so long, the deception of where they're driving it is brutal.
Sure. Yeah. But I do think you have more time to react.
You do.
You can recover to that better.
You can.
So yeah, I agree. You can be a little deceptive there. However, I don't think that's as effective as deception at the net.
The net's always going to be.
That's going to be a factor. So if you're not getting to the net often, focus on getting to the net first before you practice this stuff. But if you're getting to the net, you can incorporate some of this. So there we go. All right. Kyle's Corner brought to you by Slice.
Made in America, 100%. Machined beautifully. Comes in different weights, weighted butt caps. We talk about it all the time. Lowers that balance point. Make it feel a little, lightning fast in the hand. I use the heavier ones on elongated, and then the half ounce is better on the hybrid. And they also have the coins. They renamed them to speed coins, right? Speed coins. And if you're not ready to rip your paddle apart and put on this beauty, you can get this, which is just sticks to the bottom, and make sure you even like adding weight to the bottom, which is cool.
They're sweet. There you go.
Check them out.
Boom. Link in the description. Use code PBEffect for a discount.
All right.
Say this every week, but there's not too many paddles. I don't use some sort of weight in the butt cap now.
All right. The big news this week, it actually happened the day that we filmed the last podcast, but as most people know, ALW and CP split. So the
Annalie Waters, Catherine Parenteau.
the number one women's team in the world
No more.
is no more. And then at first it was funny because I posted an Instagram post. I'm like, oh, who's she gonna partner with? Like, it got announced so quickly. Like, I think my post was live for 2 hours before it announced that she's playing with Anna Bright. I want your feelings on that. Do you think that's a good move by Anna Bright?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, she's gonna win more.
She is gonna win more.
I don't know who's really gonna challenge them. You got Tyra and Georgia that have made some moves, but I think it was almost kind of like a Ben Johns, Colin Johns scenario where they still win together.
Oh yeah.
They are getting pressured, and I think Ben just wanted someone who could create a little more on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine, she has some offense.
Yeah.
She's really good at countering. She sets up AL all the time. She takes stuff down the line and can be a threat for sure. But I do think Anna Bright brings more offense. She has stronger counters, more deception. She can just do more on the right, which makes it hard to defend. And the right side is getting more and more offense because you can be so deceptive off the forehand. And so, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I think she's been getting a lot of flack because she built up this brand with Rachel Rohrabacher. It's like this natural, organic team that came up together, or more like Anna Bright brought up Rachel.
Yeah. No, Anna Bright they picked it. Rachel nobody even knew who she was when Anna Bright took her under her wing.
Right. And they were the number 2 team.
Yeah.
100%.
Rest in peace to your $90 sweater.
Yeah. They branded themselves the girlies. They had merch.
I know.
And it sounds like Anna Bright's known this move was coming for a while.
Yeah.
And she was still going along and kind of going with the girlies thing. So I think she's getting some flack there. But I don't know. If you're Anna Bright, do you feel bad for what you did, or do you have to do that?
See, I'm torn because I feel like Anna Bright is could also be the star. But now that she's going to be playing with Anna Leigh, she's going to be the support role. So I'm torn on how I feel there. I do think they're going to win. I'm not going to argue that they're not going to win. They're going to win.
Right.
And they're going to be a great team. It does make me a little sad because I really like Anna Bright and I wanted her to be the star of the winning team. And now I feel like she's going to be the support role.
Yeah, she kind of loses some of that spotlight.
And they're both super alpha, so I am curious to see, because we've seen them play a couple times. Because when her mom first got hurt, she did play a few with Anna Bright. But we'll see how it goes long term, if there ends up being some ego kind of bashing to each other.
Yeah,
how that works out. I honestly would have liked to see her pick it's funny because I like Tyra's new team, but ALW and Tyra would be an interesting one.
That would be.
I don't know if it'd work. I don't know if there's some animosity there between Tyra beating her in singles and then quitting afterwards. But I think that would have been a fun partnership to see.
Has she not played singles since that match?
No, she retired after
She retired after. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, she took down the goat and then said, "Oh, I'm good."
What a boss move.
I love it. Oh, so funny.
But we'll be fun to see Tyra and Georgia. I think they're going to be
they're super
next.
fun.
I wonder if CP just goes to Rachel.
Rachel
could definitely be a left sider.
Rachel just had a health scare. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh no!
So she had some cancer stuff removed, and
Whoa.
Then she wear your sunscreen. So I'm assuming it was some kind of skin cancer that had to get removed. But
wow.
She said she's okay. But yeah, I don't know who she's planning to pick. I mean, obviously her stock is way up there now compared to before she played with Anna Bryant. So I'm sure she can probably grab
get whoever she wants.
Yeah, probably anybody.
And Catherine Parenteau is by no means not competitive at all. She still has 2-3 years, I think, of being at the top and competing and having opportunities to win.
I wonder if we see CP go to the left and try to be the star now on the next team.
I don't know. I would think Rohrabacher could take up some more space, be more of a threat on the left, but I don't know.
That'd be fun. We'll see. I was looking to see if there's any news on who Rachel was going with, and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, I mean, you can't blame AB for making the move. You got to think that money's a factor.
Yeah.
She's going to
win
get more prize money.
Yeah.
She's probably going to be worth more. She's going to be on TV more. She's going to be holding up more golds, pictures, and so her sponsorships will probably be worth more.
Yeah.
And as much as who was it that made this comment? It was those two really smart guys,
Kyle and Braydon.
No, the ones that do the newsletter with pro commentary. Their name's escaping me at the moment, but they had made the point that people who were kind of bashing AB of being like the Kevin Durant of pickleball because he's just trying to go where she's going to win.
Yeah.
And they said, it's not quite the same. Durant was more of, was kind of that. Like, I want to go get trophies. They think this move with AB is like, maybe some of that, but it's more of a money, more of a money thing. She can make more money with ALW in the long term. And they were like speculating, she's probably making good money now, but it's not just huge generational mass of wealth that they think the amount of money she could make with Anna Leigh is enough to make the move where
she has to make the move.
It's going to set her up and her family and future generations up a lot better than maybe potentially going a different route. And so I don't know, how old is Anna Bright? She's still
pretty young,
low 20s.
Yeah, I
like
think so.
These guys can dominate
for a while,
years and years.
Yeah, and I do have to remember back when Anna Leigh's mom got hurt, I did want AB to be the partner. Like,
did you?
Yeah, like originally I did want Anna Bright to be the partner.
Yeah, so I always thought the upside with her was more than CP.
Yeah, and I think it still is. Like I think Anna Bright's better than CP.
Yeah.
So,
but it'll be fun to see where CP lands.
So that was that one. And then breaking news, we all talked about how the new Diadem paddles were having issues with tape adhesion. They sent out an email. Their engineers came up with a fix. So anybody that orders the BluCore, their paddles will have this fix applied to it. Yeah. They didn't say what they're doing, but they said they found a way to make sure that everybody's tape's adhering better. So I thought that was cool. Like,
super cool on them.
Quick hot fix. So
yeah. Although we had talked about
the tape first,
the fixing it ourselves. So I did put, you can't even see it here. This is my black edge guard tape that I sell.
It looks pretty good, actually.
So I put that on there first, and then I have the tungsten on top of it. I just put this on recently. I haven't played games with it, but this seems to be sticking really, really well.
And is this the one that gets a little fibrous when you scratch it up?
Yeah, this is just like your standard edge tape. It's a little thinner than, say, Fourth.
Okay.
Because their stuff is super
pretty
heavy.
Yeah.
Which was part of the reason I made this in the first place, because I wanted a lighter edge tape option, edge tape protection. And so anyways, I got this on here, and then I put the tungsten on top of that, and I don't think that's going anywhere.
Nice.
But I'll play with that again this week.
Looks good. Hopefully I'll get my BluCores this week. We'll see.
Oh, you don't have yours yet?
No. I messaged them, and they said they sent them, but I don't have them, so I don't know.
Stuff gets here late.
And I'm having some weird address stuff going on. Like, yeah. Like Selkirk sent a paddle to
3 addresses out in the wild right now.
I think I actually have like 4. And like Selkirk sent, Jace told me it was his fault, but they sent like a paddle to a house I haven't lived at in like 5 years. I was like, Jace, I didn't barely play pickleball.
That was your first pickleball.
It was.
Central
I ordered
order?
my first amped Omni
with that address.
With that address. So
it's pretty funny though.
No, I know. I was like, oh, so. But that's it for Kyle's Corner.
Cool. Let's go over to Paddle, Babble, and Gear. This is brought to you by ADV. They make some of the best bags on the market. We've both been using this for months now.
While, yeah.
Love this thing. Feature I'm going to show today is this pocket here in the front. This is like, what do you call it? It's a pocket where you can put
a lot of stuff
sunscreen and different things that could potentially spill.
Granola bars.
Yeah, stuff that's it's got that like toiletry kind of linings. Is how you explain it. Not very many bags have that. I love this.
Yeah.
Plus it's spacious. You can fit new things in here, or fit lots of things in here.
You could probably put like your stinky socks and stuff in there too. That way the smell doesn't permeate into the.
They have pockets for that down here.
I know, but I'm just saying then it wouldn't permeate into there.
I suppose you could. Stinky socks or sunscreen. But yeah, you can. I'll put a link to this bag in the description. And it ends up being right about $200 after you use the code PB Effect. And they have a 10-year warranty on this bad boy. So this thing is going to last you a while. And they're the 2 owners, the people that are running this, they went full-time this year, and really happy for them. So they've been bootstrapping this, building it themselves, and they got it to a point where they both are working it full-time, and they're just crushing it. Really happy for them. Really cool people.
Is tennis still a very big portion of their...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're coming out with new stuff, and they have things in the works. Keep an eye out on these guys. If this bag isn't your cup of tea, they're gonna have more options. But as far as like a larger bag, backpack style, this thing is amazing. All right, so let's first talk about the main bullet for Paddle, Bob, and Gear. We're gonna build our own paddles. So I had to write out what I wanted.
Oh, you wrote it out.
Looks like you're gonna go from
I'm
the
waiting.
dome.
I thought about it. I already know what I'm saying.
Okay,
So.
you got a better head than me. So the way I thought about this is building my old paddle. That's perfect, like for Braydon. This isn't a market play. This isn't every brand needs this paddle. This is just if I wanted a paddle built for me, I think I'd tell the brand to like this is what I like about different stuff that's out there. If you could bring all that into one paddle, I would use it.
So if you guys want to make the next PE paddle, pay attention to what he says.
But the thing is some of this stuff isn't necessarily like I don't know how you would build this from a technology standpoint. These are just elements and things I like from paddles that I'm kind of smashing together.
Okay.
So
your shape actually surprised me.
One is I love the feel of the TruFoam.
Okay.
I would want the impact feel of the TruFoam. That's my favorite thing about the Carbon 2 is it's dense, it's plush, but it's not too soft. You still have the feedback. It just feels so intuitive, and I just know where the ball's going. So I love the feel of the TruFoam. I would want that replicated. Shape. I'd want the Vapor shape. This is the 11624 Vapor. The reason I picked this is I love wide bodies.
Yep.
I love that 16x8 shape. The Vapor is just a little over 16, but still maximizes, the height and width you can get. So it's like 16.12 or something like that.
Okay.
So I would want that little extra reach just to move the sweet spot up just a touch, but still feels and plays very much like a wide body. So that would be the shape I go with. And this way, like you get that little extra reach, you get that little extra kind of oomph and power on bigger stuff, but everything else, like it's still quick, it's still super forgiving. It's just a little bit, I think, just a little more optimized for aggressive play while maintaining everything I love about a wide body. Okay, and then I said for handle length, I would want something between 5'3", 5'5".
Okay.
I think anything in that range I'm happy with. If you go with a 5'3", I'd want a little taper in the neck so I could fit two. 5'5", I think I'd want those cheeks kind of brought down a little bit, and so you maintain some of that stability.
Yep.
But yeah, 5'3" to 5'5", handle length, molded handle at 4.25 inches. Swing weight, I want about 115 with a static weight between around 8.2, 8.3 is what I'd want there. And then I'd want the twist weight to be about 6.8. So the current Vapor is over 7. I would actually want that brought down just a touch. I think 6.8 is going to be plenty stable, but it makes flicks just a little bit easier. You can accelerate through flicks just a little more. I think anytime you get like 7.5 twist weight, yes, it feels extremely stable, but then that's when you start to notice some drawbacks with some maneuverability. And so I'd want that around 6.8-ish. I'd be okay if it was up around 7, but 6.8-ish I think is the twist weight I would shoot for. So for an example, the Vapor Power is a 115 swing weight, and then the Chorus Supercore HX has a twist weight of 6.8.
Okay.
But I do want that in combination with that little bit higher static weight. So I think it might be a little tricky to keep the twist weight down where it is, the swing weight where it is with that higher static weight. You have to be clever with the manipulation of the weight, having a little more some of the weight lower to keep the balance where you want with that stability I'm looking for. And so some sort of combination in that ballpark, I think I would really enjoy. Power and pop, I'd want the power. I'm focused less kind of on technology. I want to talk about outputs is what I'm looking for. And so power, I'd want something in the low 70th percentile. So this would be, think like the Carbon TruFoam 3 is in this area.
Okay.
The 6.0 Black Diamond is in this kind of 70th percentile for power, where it's enough where it's helping me, but I can still swing out on it. It's not overpowering. I'm not going to just float a ton of returns. I can still swing big on drives when I want to, or overheads and whatnot. And so, because I like being able to just swing out a little bit in those scenarios from the midcourt without the ball just sailing and floating. And then I would want a little higher percentile on pop, like 80, mid 80 percentile. I don't want like the Bantam ESQC 12.7 that I played for a little bit, really liked that paddle, but it was just a bit too poppy. There were certainly moments where I would try to roll a dink, maybe I would reach in, roll a dink, and I would float a little bit too long, just a little too jumpy. So I do appreciate the extra pop on counters so I can keep things compact, but I don't want it so poppy that it makes adding topspin and like topspin dinks difficult. It makes angles too difficult, and it makes, maybe adding some variation with reach and speed ups more difficult. Because when it's super poppy, it's easy to, it makes it harder to take a little pace off when you're reaching in if you're just trying to hit a low soft roll or things like that. And so that 80, I found like kind of that 80 to 85 percentile, which is right where the Carbon 2 is. I just absolutely, I think fits me the best, where I can have the counters speed that I want while still having some options to be creative at the net with angles and spins. And so, yeah, the TruFoams right around there. The Bantam 14.3s are kind of in that pop range that I want. And so I think that's the perfect paddle for Braydon.
You didn't throw down a thickness.
Oh, I did. Maybe I didn't. 14, 15.
Okay.
I think is the thickness I would want. I like the little lower launch angle that thinner cores get you, but I realized to get some of these other aspects that I want with the forgiveness, maybe you have to go to a 15 millimeter to achieve that, which I'd be okay with. But I think 14, 15 would be ideal.
Okay. Nice.
That's me. Would you play that paddle?
I mean, I would.
Could I sell a bunch of those?
Of course. Is PE going to be in the middle of it?
If somebody makes it, let me know. I'll put my signature on there.
Yeah. Ooh. Will you do it, or your wife going to do it?
My wife would sign it, but I would claim it. The story there is when I made those PE paddles with Volair for the AJU Foundation, I had signed, or Ryan from Volair wanted me to sign a few paddles, and my signature was just so ugly, and so my wife signed them, and Kyle obviously remembered,
of course,
and give me some beef for it here.
I still have your PE paddle in the box, sealed. I'm gonna sell that someday.
I got one still sealed up. It was a cool memory. That's one of the coolest things I've done with PE so far.
I love it. All right, so the paddle I'm gonna want, it's gonna be the shape of the Scorpius.
Oh, you're going shorter than me.
5'5" handle.
Okay. Wait, hold on. Let's break down this shape.
Yeah.
Tell me why you went Scorpius. I would have thought because elongated hybrid for you.
The Scorpius is like my favorite standard shape paddle.
You just like the big square 16 by 8.
It just plays well.
No arrow curves.
It just plays well. I don't know. I play well with it. I like it.
Okay.
I was torn. I was thinking elongated. Impact feel wise, I want PET. Like I want it to feel like the Shogun felt.
Okay. So PET,
titanium.
But there's a couple ways that can feel. So you can have a PET Shogun where it has carbon behind it, or you have fiberglass behind it, like the Invader.
I want the softer.
You like the softer. You like the like
Shogun I want it to
style.
feel real plush.
Okay.
And then I would actually want like the Pro 4 internals though. I want the TFP.
You like that power pop?
I do. I think that's like a good profile. And then the 5.5.
Yeah, I wonder how the PET would interact with a Pro 4.
I don't know. In my head, it sounds like it would be amazing. It might suck.
That could be good because that would soften up even more.
Yeah.
I imagine it still has some of that little hollowish feel, but that would give it another level of plushness that they don't have. That would be interesting.
And then molded handle, because there's no reason not to have a molded handle. I want a 1 ounce slice built into it. Like I don't want to even I don't even want to have to put it on there. I want it to come with a 1 ounce butt cap
or these Diadem caps, dude.
Yeah, or the trapdoor cap.
The trapdoor butt cap is brilliant.
I love that because I want the static weight to be 9.25.
Whoa, baby, on the freaking standard wide body shape.
Yes, right out of the gate. I don't want to have to put any tape on it because I want a hot pink edge guard. And then I want black.
You're going beyond just performance. Look.
It's gonna have a look too.
Okay.
It's gonna have a hot pink edge guard. It's gonna have like no branding on it, all black, just like a little cupcake in like the bottom left of the face.
Beautiful. Are you gonna be dual certified?
Yeah.
Or are you just gonna do the UPA only for the extra spin?
Oh yeah, that's true. No, UPA only, extra grit, because all the clubs are letting you play with UPA paddles now. So there's no reason. We don't even have any USAP only tournaments anymore. Locally, at least, it doesn't feel like. Pop and power wise, I want it middle of the range power, high pop. Not like.
Are the TFP internals gonna give that to you? Or some manipulation of those internals to get this.
Yeah, it would. And then I'm still curious of how that face would change because I'm going to want that PET
that
face.
Could tone it down a little bit.
Like, I think that would bring the power down a little bit. But then you're right. I might have to back it with fiberglass to get that pop. So I'd have to play with it. I'd have to R&D it.
Some sort of configuration with the Yola internals and the right facing mix to get this output. Okay.
Let's see what else.
That's doable. I think that could happen.
So we got
wait, tell me again what you wanted, a high power, low pop. What was the combination?
So I wanted like middle power and then higher pop.
So if you were to say percentile, like I was saying, kind of 70s,
I would
kind of similar, maybe a little lower, a little higher.
Pop wise,
or for power.
Well, power wise, probably like 70.
So right on the same ballpark as where I was.
No higher than 80, and then pop wise, probably 85, 80ish. Not like
so we have pretty similar profiles.
Not top tier pop because again, I don't like when the first Gen 3 Anabright Scorpius, that was too poppy for me. That first one, that was just too much. That toned down a little. Like the newest Scorpius was better. I got to play it in Vegas, even though I haven't got it yet in person. So hopefully it's the same.
Yeah.
So that would be it. But again, it has to be hot pink and then black.
Did you say thickness?
It's going to be, I'm going to go with 14.5. I'm actually really liking the Thrive Smoke.
Okay.
So I'm going to go 14.5.
Okay.
I've been liking that thickness.
There's been two big changes for you this year. The shape change and thickness preference.
Yeah. No, I used to be a 16 only guy.
Used to be a 16 elongated, and now you're favoring shorter, a little thinner.
Yeah. I don't know why.
It's me. I'm influencing you.
You're forcing me to play the right, and I need it.
I love it, dude. All right, there we go. There's our paddles. Last thing or just a couple more bullets here for paddle babble and gear. One is just what paddles we're playing next. So as far as reviews and things go, paddles I'm playing right now are the Adidas More BluCore Saga 14s. I haven't hit those yet. Those are Vatic Pro Saga 14s.
I didn't get them.
They gave me so many. I will give you a full set.
I saw Aaron. I was like, what do I do with 8 paddles?
I have a full set I will give you.
Okay.
And then Selkirk Lux.
Yeah.
Grooving Cruisins.
Ooh, I need to hit them up.
Those are going to be $99 Gen 1.5 style. Funny story about these. So he sends me an email and said, hey, we finally got 4 out of 5 approved. One of them did not pass PB Core. Okay. It's a Gen 1.5 paddle not passing PB Core. What is going on? So he emailed them. He's like, how is this possible? They're like, we'll try it again. So anyways, more question marks around that PB Core test.
And the new filth. Yeah.
And then the new B&B filth. So these are all paddles we messed with. Some of these I do want to do a full review of the BluCores. I'll probably do a small dedicated one for the Adidas. These other ones will probably fall into my new Paddle Blitz series. I did my first Paddle Blitz.
I saw it.
Review a couple days ago.
That's
So that's that was my first one. I liked what I said, but it was a bit jumbled.
Yeah.
It wasn't very organized. And so I think
you'll get better at
this
that.
next one I go, I'll get better and better as we go. I think working with Aaron to find something that's visually appealing in conjunction with me being a little more structured.
Yeah.
I think I still kind of follow the same format of quick hits on tech specs.
And that was unscripted, right?
That was unscripted.
I like unscripted.
Yeah. I
you could do notes just to like remind you of bullets to not forget. But I like the unscripted.
Yeah. I definitely come across much more normal.
Yeah.
I'm not so stone-faced. Anyways, I do like that format. I think there's a lot of potential with that Paddle Blitz series. I'm going to keep working it, find a structure and a format that makes sense. It's easier to follow and keeps me contained. And then also finding a visual format that makes sense for it, where you can just take it all in visually quicker than maybe my longer format stuff. And so those will keep getting better. Go check that out. That is up on YouTube. And then any other paddles I'm missing? I know Holbrook's coming out with a new power paddle. It could be pretty interesting. They haven't sent that to me yet.
And then we have the new shapes for the Yolas coming.
Maybe you email them. I haven't gotten them yet. I'm seeing them float around.
I don't think a lot of people have got them. I messaged them and I was like, "Hey, did I miss the list?" And they're like, "Oh, hey Kyle, let me check."
Well, tell them to send me some too.
Yeah, I will.
Okay. So those, and then Wilson sent me paddles. They are in my house. There's an embargo on them. I haven't hit them yet, but they are built very different. So we'll see.
I mean, that's a
what
giant.
that turns into.
We'll see. Their first paddles were trash. No offense, but
nothing. Yeah. I mean, I honestly just haven't played a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's been a couple years since I've played a Wilson.
Yeah, I'd say like 3 years ago I probably played it. It was probably 3 years ago.
And so I don't really know how their latest stuff has been. I know they've been messing around with foam some.
Do they have any pros?
I don't think so. But but some of these bigger brands are starting to reach out to us finally. Wilson reached out to send this to me, and so it's
I got
fun
Onyx
to see.
paddles for the first time
We
ever.
got Onyx paddles for the first time ever. They sent me some. I haven't actually given those too much time.
I haven't had a chance to hit them yet.
But that's what this paddle blitz review style is going to be for, is for paddles like that where I hit and have opinions but don't want to do a full review on. So I'm excited about that series. Okay, finish. Oh, wait. Last thing here is Motion Pros.
They're sending me some.
You got these coming? So first impressions on these. Head,
sweet.
So these are, if you're listening, these are shoes. These are the Head Motion Pro BOAs. These are built the same as their Motion Pros that they released last year, but with this
the BOA lacing,
system.
That's sweet.
So it's pretty slick and super easy to put on, right? I think the benefit of the BOA system over maybe laces is just it's so easy to relax your feet either in between games or if you're in a round robin or you're in some sort of event where there's time in between games. It's just you just pop these and it's loose.
Well, it's cool.
Keep your feet breathing.
It's almost like the shoe's a booty, and then you secure it with the BOA. I think that was a cool idea.
So the BOA is cool that way. As far as it feeling tight, like when I do like the laces more as far as like the lock-in I get from those, because I have these in the laces as well, and they have the little eyelets right here that you can tighten down at the ankle, and I liked that feel a little bit more. I think for me that's just because these are like a medium to wide width shoe, and I have narrow feet, and so I needed a little extra lockdown up there. And so if you do have a medium to wider foot, this is going to fit you better than me, and this BOA system will lock it down nice. It's actually kind of cool how they built this. So it's more room in the forefront and in the mid here, and then it gets narrower towards the heel, and it feels nice and snug in the heel.
Snug your heel down.
And so it's a good lockdown there, and I think you got to have that good lockdown with the heel with this BOA system. But yeah, super comfortable. I was reading up on them before this, and they designed this for pickleball. This is a pickleball shoe, and the things they changed were when they did play testing, there was more wear on the outside edges than tennis. Yeah. So tennis, it's very concentrated down here in the toe area and kind of on the sides, whereas pickleball, there's more wear everywhere. So they reinforced the rubber around the entire outside for increased durability there. And then they kept noting that pickleball players just play longer than tennis. And so they made a little bit more cushioning. It's not so high off the ground where you feel like you're going to roll your ankle, but there's definitely more cushioning here, and they feel very comfortable. But in addition to the added cushioning, they added some ventilation systems.
Yeah, you can see that it looks very breathable.
You see the breathable here, and then it's also breathable on the bottom. This is unique to them. They have this, like, I don't know what you call that, this little cave down here where it's more breathable underneath your foot, not just on top of your foot. And so I think the big draw to this is the durability and the breathability. It's not this lightweight, super fast performance shoe. It's a little heavier. It's meant for durability. It's meant for comfort. It's that kind of style. And then these new BOA laces are pretty cool. These launch April 17th. Curious to see your thoughts on them, but
they didn't cheap out on these either. They used the Ortholite.
They have the Ortholite insoles.
Yeah, they didn't just throw in the like cheap, flimsy.
Yeah, anytime I see Ortholite, that's a good sign.
That's a good one.
And so, those will launch April 17th. And I did get a code with Head. And so you can get, actually, it's 15% off.
Okay.
So you get a really good deal on these shoes with the code PB Effect. Plus, you can get discounts on all their other PB stuff.
They got some new paddles coming, too.
I haven't talked to them about new paddles. You talked about new paddles?
Well, I talked to Michael Lloyd, and he was telling me they have some paddles coming, and then I talked to their rep, and she basically said, like, the next paddle is probably not one that's going to be, like, super exciting for us and our audience, but the one after that is going to be a mega splash.
All right, Head. All right.
So I'm assuming it's going to be like the one their pros use.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, we'll finish with Q&A. First question is from Socks Untied.
I almost said Socks United.
Yeah, Socks Untied. What a great name. What about paddles for certain ages? What do you think?
Yes. So again, this is where I'll go back to like the Vice. Even though the Vice is unapproved, I think that paddle for like elderly people that have shoulder issues and stuff like that was amazing because they didn't have to swing very hard to get the same amount of power to actually play
and it's very
a good game of
comfortable.
pickleball. Yeah, it was easy on your arm. So I definitely do think there is a argument to be made about certain paddles for certain ages, not just ages. I would also just say like health, like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you have shoulder issues, there's like a better paddle for you than something that's going to give you a ton of vibration and hit like
What do you think about for kids? Like 10 and under?
I think that's a huge market that's not being hit yet. I do think with the national junior
PBA,
I think that's going to become more thing. But I do think there's got to be some like kid specific type stuff because like me and an 8-year-old shouldn't be swinging the same paddle. I wouldn't think.
Yeah, I mean, what would be a good paddle for an 8-year-old? Do you think?
Like a competitive kid?
Yeah,
that's a
competitive kid and or just kids in general.
I would say probably something that doesn't have a ton of vibration and then middle of the road. I mean, power wise.
Yeah, I would think a little extra power is needed. I mean, I look at Oakley. She's 6. My little girl, she's hitting. She'll dink with me.
Mm-hmm.
We have a little rally tally that we keep track of, and then we almost hit 30 the other day.
Whoa!
So she's dinking. She's starting to figure it out. So in her scenario, power is actually helpful.
Yeah.
And then lightweight, like a Rhombus Ripple is almost a great paddle for her.
Something in the 7s.
Something light, something where she doesn't have to create her own power, right?
Mm-hmm.
And doesn't have to just swing out of her shoes to get it over the net.
I am surprised there's not more paddles made yet for those kids because like I have the Yola.
There's no performance paddles.
Exactly, because I have like the Megalodon from Yola or whatever. The paddle's not very good though.
Paddle's horrible.
Yeah.
Every kid paddle I've played that's designed for kids.
Yeah. It's like a toy.
It's a toy. Yeah. It's not a great paddle. It's usually really cheap, fiberglass, not forgiving at all. You want something more forgiving.
Yeah.
They don't feel great. They don't have much juice. And so somebody needs to come out with like a performance kid paddle that has maybe a smaller grip circumference.
Yeah. That's another thing.
A little more, something a little lighter, something with some punch to it.
Yeah.
And just give them a wide body. Anyways.
There you go, brands.
But if you are a new player and you've matured, you're a human, you're an adult.
Yeah.
I don't think you want a power paddle. In that scenario, you want a control paddle.
Yeah.
But anyways, there's a lot of and I mean, I won't go into it. All right, next question. Aimer.Bektas. How does the 008 10 millimeter compare to the TruFoams? I can answer this one. I just wrote down that the 008 has a smaller sweet spot, so the average pop and power is lower.
Yeah.
However, when you weight it up and when you connect, in the dead center of it, they have kind of a similar firepower level of that aggressive all court. But it does have a firmer feel, though it still feels kind of foamy, which is kind of interesting there. And then it is lighter out of the box if that's a thing. I would still take the TruFoams over the 10 millimeter just because it's easier to pick up and play and more forgiving. And then the 008 can be a little demanding with the sweet spot size. However, it does respond well when you hit center, and it's very maneuverable and good that way. Of the 008 series, I think I take the 10 millimeter.
10 is your favorite?
Is my favorite there. When you get the right balance of weight on it, that one I think plays the best. It's just a little more lively than the 13. And I like
the
that.
13.
Did you?
Yeah, I think I have a 10. They might, I have to double check, but
that'll. I don't know. Any other thoughts on that?
No, not really. I think you hit the nail on the head there. I'd probably go TruFoam over the 10 mil too. So,
well, there you go. Thanks for watching.
Have a great day.
Peace.